Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island viewers should be aware that the following program may contain images and names of deceased persons.
Great to have you with us as we are almost on one of the great weekends of footy for the year. We've got a fantastic show to celebrate the Sir Doug Nicholls round. Eddie Betts not too far away from joining us, and Kevin Sheedy, who was really the mastermind and the architect behind the whole thing, going to join us for a...
This is one of my favourite rounds of the year. This and Anzac, both the brainchilds of our guest tonight.
He's been enormous.
But this is such a celebration.
I wonder if Sheeds likes the Festival of Footy. We might have to ask him that on the way through. It's all over now.
It's over, Mickey.
Sort of cope with it okay?
I've been on a drip for the last 2 days. I'm glad it's over, and my couch is too. I actually put it out the front as hard rubbish. If that couch could talk, it would press charges. I'm pretty sure.
You have got a lovely lawn. What are you doing? What's your secret with that? It's not really lush, that lawn.
I don't like going into it, but suffice to say, it's a sit-down lawn, mate.
There's discussions about the fact that this might become a standard part of the footy season.
Yes,
we might see it again next year.
Every year.
For it? Yeah.
Oh,
the AFL are getting ahead of themselves. They should just get back and refocusing on what's important. The China game, or listen to the fans and put all the resources back in AFLX. They're getting it. That's a good point.
That's a good point. Hey, there's been a lot of people have asked me about the Onion. Is there?
I'm a bit flat.
What do you mean? What's going on?
The Onion is Angus Brayshaw's Onion that I was entrusted with while he's in the hub.
He's going well.
He's going well, really, absolutely.
He's obviously comfortable with how you're looking after the Onion.
That Onion's going better than this show. But the Onion is missing. It's missing.
How do
I'm putting
you
out an
lose?
An APB?
That's it.
I'm putting an APB. If you have seen an onion about, yay high, it's 180 centimetres. It's a Collingwood 6-foot onion. And if you've seen it, right? If you've seen
Where did you last leave
That's bad parenting. If you lose a 4-foot onion,
I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but you are prime suspect number one, you, Mick.
Me?
Yep.
What do you mean?
So I found this in your dressing room.
What?
It's the biggest onion ring I've ever seen in my life. And that's in your dressing room.
I can explain that.
This is called Exhibit A.
It's not what it seems. It's not what it seems. Give it down.
In court, this is called Exhibit A.
Put that back down. Oh, yeah. That's good. That is good.
Anyway. Angus, just rest. We don't want to break Angus's form.
If you do see an onion, please.
I'm sure the onion's fine. That's unrelated.
In case you're having sort of some withdrawals after the footy frenzy, there is another one coming. Starts August 27, 17 games.
There's another one?
In 18. Yeah, there is. What? 17 games in 18 days starting August 27. Take us through the last round.
This is the greatest season ever.
To get Mick out of his pyjamas, you're going to need the jaws of life. Another one.
Another one. Hopefully it keeps dishing up the sort of footy that we've had recently. We've had some
We'll remember this year forever, won't you? It's just extraordinary.
Yeah, there's been some fantastic footy played. There were some cracking games of footy played.
Well, I know what you're driving towards, and I'd like to...
What's the story of the week?
I would like to play it for you as my treat to you.
Well, that's very nice.
I'd like to play you now what I consider to be the greatest goal I have seen after the siren involving the Carlton Football Club. Yes! It's Gray! And he dobs it! Yes! I'll never forget these scenes. Play it again. In the control room, play it again. It brings a tear to my eye. It involved Carlton. It's after the siren. It's got everything you need. Robbie Gray, isn't it? Just...
You are a really ordinary... You're a very ordinary piece of work.
You left it with me.
You are. You should be better than that, but you're not.
Why we keep turning up and doing this show with him has got me completely stuffed. Hey, he's not going to do it. We should celebrate.
Here we go. Have your fun.
Arguably the greatest kick from the technical degree of difficulty. I suggest this is the greatest kick after a siren to win a game of football in the history of the game. Yeah. I mean, he had a fair bit to contend with. Yeah,
all it took, Mick, was 2 dodgy umpiring decisions.
I don't care whether you're barrack for Carlton or not, those scenes warm the cockles of your heart when you see blokes just enjoying the moment.
It's every boy's dream to kick a goal after the siren to get your team up to 12th. That's what childhood dreams are made of. Are they not?
I got to be honest. Hey, am I alone? Do you feel as though Boom Shakalaka's becoming mine?
Nice.
It is, isn't it? You had your time with it.
You nailed it.
I'll take it to another level.
It's yours, yeah, no, it was
Hey, by the way, it was a very delicate manner in which young Jack Nunes there got rid of the chair.
Yep.
Really, very
Considerate.
very
It was
delicate,
diplomatic.
very diplomatic, very considerate. Considering, I prefer the way Fraser Garrick used to get rid of a chair. By the way, I mean, if he wanted to have a shot for goal, he'd just get rid of the chair. You know what I mean? That's what he. It was almost a practice shot for goal before he actually took the shot for goal.
It's a good shot.
Mate, Fraser Garrick, how good a guest would he be on this show?
You're awesome.
You got an update?
Yeah, we contacted him this week.
And?
He said, never contact me again.
That
I
sounds...
said, you serious? He goes, never contact me again.
Hey, down the track, Tom.
It was a good kick on the chair, though.
It was a great kick on the chair.
I saw him attack an Ottoman once. It was ugly.
Hey.
It was ugly.
The number he did on that banana lounge, I'll never forget.
Banned from IKEA,
Should have gone to jail. Should have gone to jail. It was bad.
You done? Down the track.
Boom shakalaka!
No, that's a yellow card.
Down the track.
Right.
Down the track, I reckon Tom Lynch will be a good guest on this show. He's been in the news this week.
Oh, here we go.
That's if
What do you got here?
That's if he doesn't punch us in rehearsal.
He probably will. Little rub.
Have a look at it.
Gut punch.
Oh,
in the
no,
cage.
here's the
There he goes.
biggest story of the week.
Well, it got pretty big, hasn't it? He got $1,000 for that, $1,000 for another one on Jared Witts. It did get pretty big, didn't it?
Did it?
It did.
Did
The story,
it?
You know it got pretty big. I mean,
Why is that a story? With everything that's going on in football, that's what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
He used to do that when he played for the Suns, but no one was watching.
So he got away with it.
He's got form.
Well,
Everyone's carried on, including who's his opponent.
No, Sam Collins. I mean, this was the poor kid. He was furious at the end of the game.
wasn't
plays
happy,
heart
was he?
and soul. He was filthy in the room. I mean, have a look at this.
And that's $1,000. You can't. That's a coward's punch, by the way, on that pole.
It's intentional. It's high impact.
He's trying to look. He's clearly steaming after.
What's he
the game.
doing
It's
now?
an angry walk.
Walking the fury out of himself.
$500 for bad acting. What's he doing?
We like that. We can't wait to see the Gold Coast Suns play Richmond next. That will be. Sam Collins goes straight out to Tom Lynch. It'll be a match-up to look forward to.
Neither of them will even remember the
Oh,
incident.
yeah, they'll remember it. Don't worry
Well, that's
about
because Sam Collins has got concussion after that. That's why.
Oh, what? Tum-tum concussion?
That's what he won't remember.
Tum-tum concussion.
It's a technical term.
Tum-tum.
Don't go over.
Hey, Mitch Robinson got himself involved in the story. We love Mitch. Brisbane,
you're in
hard man,
trouble
former Blue
when
Bag, of course.
Mitch Robinson's questioning your character.
He was playing some good Call of Duty or something on Twitch during the week, and he got himself into some trouble with some comments about Tom Lynch.
What's up, Footy King? Lynch thinks he's something. Oh, mate. He went to a good team to get success. That's what he did. He went to a premiership team and thinks he's that good. Yeah, he just does my head in. He's a wanker.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Mitch. Yeah.
What's he playing there?
I don't,
Call of
I
Duty?
don't know. I'm not a.
On Twitch.
On Twitch.
Yeah.
What's Twitch?
No, I'm over 50 years of age, so I've got no idea what Twitch is.
If you've got a question about backgammon,
I'm
he's your man. But I wouldn't have thought video games would be the way to go.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a gamer, I can know it is.
What's Twitch? I've never heard of it.
But I don't get.
You've never heard of Twitch?
I've never heard.
Oh, really? You've never heard of Twitch?
It's not
Welcome
ringing
back.
any bells.
It's interesting considering the vision.
It only took 3 goes to get you.
We've got you back eventually.
To play ball. Too worried about where
You
your
know
next
what?
boom shakalaka's coming from.
Hey,
He was thinking
that's
about
mine now. That's mine.
Because you're thinking about your next game of Mahjong.
It's mahjong.
So what's this Twitch you're talking of? I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's interesting that you ask that for the fourth time. For the fourth time, because we got footage of you this week on Twitch, Mick Malloy.
Oh. What's up, Footy King? Andy Marr, wanker. Hey, Jude, Sam Payne, double wanker. Together, triple wankers.
Just goes to
Kind of wish I'd never heard of Twitch.
You should never play that game.
Look, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Me taking 5 minutes to get there may not have helped that. All right? I apologise for that. I'm sorry.
Hey, we've got a massive weekend to look forward to, of course. One of the great weekends, Sir Doug Nicholls round. There's so much to look forward to right across the weekend, but it's all happening up in Darwin with the Dreamtime game on Saturday night. and that's kicked off tomorrow night, before tomorrow night, with Carlton taking on the Gold Coast Sun. Eddie Betts is going to be part of that, and I'm sure he is jumping out of his skin with anticipation of being part of it. It's great to have him on the show. Eddie, thanks for joining us. This must be, everybody up in Darwin must be absolutely humming of the prospect of what's happening this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I've always wanted to come on the front bar. It's a lot of fun and finally get to come on. But like you said, yeah, this week's going to be a fantastic week. You know, Sir Nichols, always look forward to playing in it. And I can't wait to see all the designs, but especially being up here in Darwin to open up Sir Doug. Amazing, especially with the amount of Indigenous communities they have up in here. So hopefully everyone will turn up, support both sides, and we'll have a good match.
Andy, tell us what this round means to you as a Indigenous footballer.
Obviously, it means a lot, you know, to play in Sir Doug Nichols round. I get tingles when I think about it, and I want to go out and perform for my family, for my culture, for my people. But then I think about it, you know, I want it to be special for everyone else as well. You know, because it's a learning week. Learn about Aboriginal culture. You see all the designs on the jerseys, and what country, you know, you're on. And but I've always said to the broader community, don't wait for certain weeks or days to celebrate Aboriginal culture like Sir Doug Nichols round or NAIDOC week. You know, we need to celebrate our culture, you know, every week. You know, I'm teaching my son, you know, every week or every day about our culture. I'm Aboriginal, my mum and dad are Aboriginal, but I know 2%. And that's how much there is to be learned. And I like to, you know, teach, and I'm still learning as well.
You mentioned the designs. We've got the Carlton jumper here. I'm holding it up. Can you talk us through who designed this jumper you'll be wearing, and does it have any significant meaning?
Yep, the Carlton Aboriginal jumper this year is designed by an artist of Tony Wilson from Adelaide. He's a Kaurna and Ngarrindjeri man. And if you see the 6 ripples on the front, it represents the 6 Aboriginal players for the Carlton Football Club, 4 men and 2 women, for the women's side as well. Yep. And on the back, the 2 main ripples are the supporter base and the members, which are part of this journey. And it just represents the positive choices that the Carlton Football Club and we as players have made. So it's a wonderful design by Tony Wilson, and I can't wait to run out in it.
It's good to see the supporter base ripple isn't leaving at 3/4 time. I really like that one, Eddie. I think it's really fitting.
It's wonderful. By the way, can you hold up? Eddie,
that's what I love about you, because you guys, you know, outnumbering. There's 2v1 on the show, and you get that.
Well, wonderful effort too by the artist Tony Wilson to seamlessly blend in the sponsor too on the back too. Wonderful effort, Eddie. I'm sure you forgive us. We're still stunned that that it's an honour for you to come on the show. By the way, we've had to you know, compose ourselves. But can we go back to last week and Jack Nunge's goal, mate? You had a fair part to play, didn't you? You had some words with Jack just before he kicked it. Can you tell us what you said?
I said to Jack, "Give it to a goal kicker." You know, he ended up kicking. I ended up walking while he was lining up, and I walked around to the back and just knew straight off the boot it was just going straight through the middle. And I tried to hug him, but he kept running away from me. So I thought I chased him down and tackled him. And it was my first 450 tackle I got for the game too.
He's taking our line.
Exactly. That was loaded and ready to go, Eddie. But you got in first.
Eddie, thank you for coming on. We really enjoy you on the field and off the field. You're such a great leader. I noticed your T-shirt there. Do you want to talk briefly about this? This is one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard. Please tell everyone what you're thinking right now.
Just more so a campaign of Free the Flag. You know, it's the Aboriginal flag that, you know, a WAM clothing company that owns the flag. They bought the rights off Harold Thomas, who designed the flag. And, you know, I didn't really know about it until last year when I wrote a children's book. I published this book, and it was about Aboriginal culture, and it was teaching young kids about our culture. So I wanted to get the book into schools to early age so they can start learning at an early age about Aboriginal culture. And I put the Aboriginal flag in there, but I had to ring up and ask for permission, and I didn't really know that. And so I try to do some, research on it. I got in contact with Harold Thomas, or I tried to, and I got a verbal permission. And then I rang Wham Clothing, who I had to get permission off as well, which are a company that's non-Indigenous owned. And yeah, it's what we're trying to do. We're trying to free the flag, and this is why we're wearing T-shirts. I think the AFL jumped on board. And I support the AFL for not paying to use the Aboriginal flag, because it should be free for everyone to use.
This is not okay. This is not okay, and we're all outraged as well. This needs to be sorted. That flag is far more significant than to be owned by a corporate entity.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think there's progress being made, and I think we're going to come to a solution sooner than later, and hopefully we can, like we say, free the flag for everyone to use.
Well, Eddie,
good on you, mate.
You keep flying your flag, mate, and we'll keep flying it right alongside you. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. Good luck tomorrow night against the Gold Coast Suns and for the rest of the season, mate. It's a joy watching you play your footy. Thanks for being part of it with us.
Nah, guys, thanks. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys outnumbering, the Richmond supporters in there.
He's a beautiful man. Footy's a better game because of people like Eddie Betts, and Eddie Betts in particular. He is a gem. Those Carlton jumpers that Mick and Eddie were talking about are going to be worn by the players, obviously, and are going to be available for auction on the Carlton website after the game. So you can have one of those jumpers as worn by one of the Carlton players after the game. Don't go anywhere. We can't wait. Kevin Sheedy to join us next. Magnificent pub over in the west. Yeah, no, magnificent place over in the west of Australia. If you're over in that neck of the woods, get there and get amongst it. Socials, let us know what you're thinking. Anything you want us to have a chat about in the show down the road, let us know. Hit us up on our social media platforms.
Just before we get to our unbelievable... I know, I can't wait.
Special guest.
Very, very
Coming
special
very
guest.
soon.
Of course, here at Channel 7, there are a few rules that you have to go through, especially when it comes to Bruce McAvaney.
Oh, yeah.
There's a hierarchical structure on this network.
Absolutely. What word was that again?
Hierarchical structure. Can I buy a vowel?
What's wrong with that? Absolutely. There's a structure, a hierarchical structure.
Hierarchical.
There is, and there are a few rules. One is don't look him in the eyes. Never park in his car space, and obviously when he's been drinking, make sure he never has more than two.
Sure.
If the other rule is in the commentary box, if Bruce has something to say, you get out of his way you let him say it. And I'm not sure that the current Channel 7 commentary team is following this simple rule.
Gawn has been getting down into that position. Perhaps he can now push forward when he does come back.
And that's been a massive change from when I saw him out here against Port Adelaide about 5 to 6 weeks ago. And as you said, Daisy, they look so much better when they move the ball in an attacking manner.
Clayton Oliver's last 2 weeks as well. He's changed from taking possession, looking to give and bring a teammate into it, to putting in really hard first five. He's getting into space and kicking instead. Hodgie, they banked for 4 points. Sorry, Bruce.
No.
You get out of his way, mate.
Get out of his way.
You'll be commentating in the country next week.
It's an absolute joy for us to welcome to the show somebody I think has made the greatest contribution to footy in the history of the game. I don't think there's anybody who can match this man's CV when it comes to covering in all the corners of the game. He has been one of the giants of football, and it is a joy to say welcome to him on the show tonight. Please make him welcome, Mr. Kevin Sheedy.
Oh, yeah.
Get up. Have a standing ovation for it, please, could.
How are we all? Are we going well?
Going well.
To see it.
This show could end at midnight tonight if we cover everything, mate. It's just been...
So we're going to dive into your playing and coaching stuff a bit later on, but it is Doug Nicholls' round, and it's a really significant one for you. It wouldn't be what it is now without your contribution at the start of it. It's the first day we saw this plan of yours come together, Kevin. Can you believe how big it's become and how important it's become?
Well, look, the games that I try to get through the AFL and through the clubs are about teaching our country about our people and different areas of our society, particularly the RSL and Anzac Day. But here's a classic case of from myself saying that I did not know much about Indigenous people when I grew up in Chapel Street, Prahran, because I never saw any. And Malcolm Brown was probably the one person that set me straight on it. And because we have the least amount of Aboriginal people in Victoria than of the major states, because they normally are in the warmer areas. And but I did play a practice match against a guy called Charlie Stewart one day when I was 18 for Richmond against the Goulburn Valley. And I didn't know the person. I didn't do my homework. I was just that sort of adventurous. I'm going up to play my first practice game, Goulburn Valley, and there's an Aboriginal person in the centre, and I'm going to play on him. And I thought, well, this will be good. You know? Well, mate, I got the best toweling up, like embarrassing, you know. And, so I didn't know, and I didn't prepare. Who is this man I'm going to play on? Because we didn't know. And so I followed him. And I met him last year for the first time ever.
Is that right?
Yeah, at Chuka.
Wow.
And I said, and then I checked out his record. And he played in the 1961 Footscray Grand Final side.
Really?
Never played again. Never played again because the gauntlet was thrown between him and Jack Collins and Ted Whitten.
Great hair, right? Yep.
You either give up rodeo riding, or you don't play here. He said, thanks, I'm going to rodeo.
That's a fantastic.
And, you know, and he's just a beautiful person I met last year. And so, you know, Malcolm was fantastic. I mean, he said, look, you know, you've got to get Winmar, you've got to get any players that you people in the East don't understand how talented these people are coming from the North. I said, oh, yeah, well, you know, we think we're pretty good in Victoria, but we're that good we were wrong. And of course, I missed on Winmar, so I made sure I didn't miss on Long. You know,
those boys that you recruited, Kevin, did you make sure that none of them were rodeo riders?
Sheeds, what have they... So Malcolm knew what he was talking about.
Well, he
people at
coached
Western
our
up
friend
north knew, right?
It's incredible contribution by Indigenous players.
What have they brought to our game, Sheeds? What do you reckon they've brought to the national game, to the Victorian Football League? And
unstructured football.
Perfect.
Unstructured football.
Yeah, beautiful.
White man loves structure.
Yep.
Aboriginal says, we're watching.
So how hard is it for coaches? I mean, you obviously dived into this and tried to understand. How hard is it for coaches in the modern game to let any natural player play unstructured footy?
Fact, I always went that way.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the great players teach the coach how to coach.
Yeah, right.
And most of the great players lose concentration in team meetings within 10 minutes.
Bored.
Well, because they're bored. And of course, and I'm talking not just Indigenous players. I mean, I'm talking about, you know,
of course.
I'm talking about Hurd or any of them. You know, Watson, Madden. You know, I mean, these guys played 300 games, 400. Simon nearly played 400 games, sort of stuff. You know, so really, you're coaching in team meetings for the probably 2/3 or a half of the team who need to catch up to the great players. And that's one of the difficulties of coaching.
You had a great knack of getting Indigenous players to Essendon, and many greats were under you at the time. Derek Kickett, of course.
A superstar.
A superstar. We talk about unstructured football.
Watch this. Oops.
Were you as happy watching
that was
box?
I saw that at the Malvern Rock when I was a kid.
A superstar of the game. One of the all-time greats, and
then this bloke,
one of your favourites. Can you talk to us about how special this bloke is?
Well, I saw him one day. Wow, it's a winger, he had courage because he ran. See, a lot of players that run have courage because they look for an exciting opportunity. A lot of people just kick the ball and throw it on their boot at the moment because obviously the game is overcrowded. But when you see runners, Bartlett or Long, like this case, most guys will kick the ball within 3 steps. He says, no, I'll go for another 20 and have a bounce, you know. And they're exciting players, and that's what they bring to the game. And that's what Malcolm said. He said, look, you know, these boys will light up Victoria, and they have. And they've really lit up Australia.
Of course they have.
We talked about like that Longy to Gavin Wanganeen, the chemistry between those two especially. It did feel at times like magic, but when Longy here trying to explain the chemistry that they had.
Sort of mental telepathy, so me and Gavin sort of call each other, you know, by phone, I suppose.
I mean...
You can't coach that, Kevin.
No. I never coached Michael Long. I mean, he kicked the ball to space down the Jollyman end this day, and he kicked it to no one. And the coaches in the box are saying, well, what do you do that for? I said, well, I don't know. I said, well, in 2 minutes, the siren's going to go at half-time. I'll ask him, you know. So I said to Michael, Michael, see, you're playing well. So, well, he had the ball.
Right, yeah.
Look, can you just give me a bit of an idea why you kicked it to no one just before half? I said, well, tell the white men to run. So they're all up in the goal square wanting to take a specky.
Hey, we saw you brought something in, and it's unbelievable what you've brought in, and there's a chance for people to have this. You said you wanted to understand Indigenous Australians and Indigenous footballers better. You've dived into the culture of the Noongar people over there in Western Australia. Yeah. Their contribution to footy can be captured by this amazingly framed piece of memorabilia you've got.
Talk us through this.
Well, it's... Look, it's for one nation, the Noongar nation, and there's a number of nations of Indigenous people. They're not tribal, right? They're nations, and I've been taught that by the elders.
Okay.
So the Noongar people in Indigenous language can't talk to the Torres Strait Islanders. Most Australians wouldn't know that.
Yep.
The only way they talk is English, basically. Anyway, so these are the things you learn. But here's a team that I've written out in my own handwriting from this area of Australia. They've had 60 players play AFL, 60. Yeah. And this is the team I selected, and I've left some premiership players out.
That's an unbelievable team.
And there's
an unbelievable team.
So the full forward line, Jeffrey Farmer, Buddy Frackler, Philip Matera. If Buddy kicks 1,000 goals between now and next year, he'll be the tallest player ever to kick that amount of goals in the history of the game.
Of course you'd know something like that.
But these guys will have kicked between them about 1,700 goals.
So
Kevin, I see you got in the middle, and right in the centre you got Derek Kickett.
I put him in the team.
You didn't think about leaving him out?
Sheeds, you would have been, had it not been for COVID, you would have been helping out bushfire-ravaged communities this week and this weekend. You would have been doing that.
Well, yeah.
So we're going to... I can't believe you're doing this. You're going to auction this.
Well, I think it's what's happened in East Gippsland and Black Saturday. You know, this group of people, Blaze Aid, they work for nothing.
Nothing, yep.
You know, and people like the Bendigo Bank and Lindsay Fox, they donate a lot of money and others into the cost of the materials, but all of these people do it for nothing. Right around the building fences, and we're going to auction this off on eBay.
We've already put it up on eBay, and there's already a bid. We've already put a bid.
We put the first bid down.
We have, we put it down.
And why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
So $1,000.
Well, Kevin, we're at Channel 7, so you never know.
And we'll be in it.
They've got the decimal point in the wrong spot, have they?
Get on board, have a bet. This is up and running. This is a fantastic piece of memorabilia that Kevin's brought in, and it's, as pointed out, it's going to a great cause.
Yep.
Before we get you to talk about your own career, I just want to go back
I don't want to talk about my career.
Oh, no,
we wanted just to get to the significance of what you've done with the Indigenous round and kicking this off and the Dreamtime game. These are great pictures. This is you with two teams that you love, obviously, Richmond and Essendon. But here you are grabbing a kid's scarf to show that you support both. Everyone's happy about this, apart from the kid himself.
Yeah.
Who feels like he's just been robbed of a scarf. Did you ever get the scarf back to him?
No, I sold it.
You sold it? I don't think you did.
I didn't.
You didn't, because I think the club was supposed to, but they didn't either. Here he is. We've tracked him down. He's got a message for you.
G'day, Kevin. Do you remember me? It was great to see you at that Dreamtime game, but it would also be good if I could get my scarf back. Please. Send me my scarf.
Here it is, here, mate. Sign that and we'll give it to him.
Right, we'll do that for sure.
While you're doing that, get that song.
We'll give him a huge elbow.
We'll get that scarf to that young fella. He will get that scarf sent to him. A break. More Kevin Sheedy on the other side of this.
Kevin, fair dinkum, mate, you've got to put your boot into the ball. You're too slow to do all this finessing. Bloody back pocket plumber. That's what I want.
Right to the half-back flank on the outer side. Oh, and Sheedy gets up. Richmond too good. Their second successive premiership. Have a look at Sheedy, number 10. He's like a kid with a new toy. Look at him.
Kevin, how are you settling in your new job as coach at Essendon?
I feel that Essendon have got to start realising that that's what football is all about, winning football.
This premiership is Sheedy's premiership with these tremendous moves he's made.
Essendon winning their first flag since 1965.
What a game! Have you ever seen anything like it? Kevin Sheedy has started a tradition.
Any advice if someone was thinking of marrying a football coach?
Don't.
By nations, do you mean the umpires? I wouldn't say that. I'm not allowed to talk about umpires.
And the marshmallows are flying out here at the moment, Bruce.
What lengths will he go? He's applied the cold spoon treatment to the weather sock.
The seagull hit Mark Johnson.
Well, it's my life, and I'm going to make it my life because I think the game is such a great game that I will probably spend the next 40 years just talking and teaching football.
It's an unbelievable life lived in footy.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And it's not over yet. You've got a lot. I'm sure you've got a lot more you want
Just
to get
quickly,
done.
we're up to $5,000 already on your memory piece. So keep the bidding going throughout the show.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Let's go back to the beginning. Can we? Do you remember your first coach? Who was your first coach ever when you were playing as a kid?
Bill Fleming and Bob Morris. They were under 13 with Kevin Bartlett and under 15s at Tri
So you
Boys.
knew Kevin as a boy.
9, 10, yeah.
9, 10.
So the name Sister Rupert doesn't ring any bells?
Oh, she was my first coach.
Yeah, she
Irish
was
lady.
Yeah, there you go.
A nun, yeah, very, very beautiful woman.
Is it true after a win she swung her habit around her head? And that's where you got the jacket thing.
He doesn't know what to say. Were you more back pocket... Be honest with us here. I know you don't like talking about yourself. Were you more... Did you think you were more back pocket plumber or more freewheeling, game-changing ruck rover?
He kicked the first 3 goals in the grand final.
Tommy was unfair on you.
Oh,
you were a better player than that.
He made a very serious comment. You know, I would get ahead of myself.
You were a better player than just...
I'm a better player upfield.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be allowed to play up there that much because we have very good players. I mean, it's hard to beat.
Look at this.
Bartlett.
This is shades of... Does this remind you of anyone when you do this?
Well,
who does this remind you of?
Oh,
Michael Green.
A little bit of Derek Kicker about that.
Yeah, well, same pocket.
Yeah, there you go. It is. It is.
I never had the pace to run around the big ruckman.
Kevin, was it always going to be Richmond?
No, it was Melbourne, but Kevin Bartlett and I lived in the Melbourne zone, and we used to go down there with a guy called Kerry Ryan, who was a superstar player at Prahran Tech, where we ended up going to school together, and we just grew up with Ron Barassi. At these footy clinics was Norm Smith and Brian Keneally and Brian Dixon and Neil Crompton, and all you saw was Melbourne. But I just, in the end, didn't get there. Yeah. Still haven't got there.
So did they see you and they didn't rate you?
Yeah, Prahran. When I played 50 games of Prahran.
Oh, don't get defensive. We're just saying.
Prahran. The 3 years of Prahran, and they said we've got a lot of people like you.
You're a Richmond boy. You were a Richmond through and through. I still walk through Richmond, which is Swan Street's. It's my alma mater.
We own half
and look,
of it.
my favourite butcher. This is from Birdie's. Birdie's the butcher. My favourite butcher in the world. He's still there, and that was a promotional thing you and Francis Burke did, I reckon, probably 50 years ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, it was. 50 years ago.
And in those days, it literally was. It was that geographic, wasn't it? You were all. If you weren't going out with someone in the Polaco building, you were all living in that.
It was total Richmond. No, we didn't go anywhere but Richmond unless you want to go to a dance on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
And you wouldn't want to college direction, I would have thought.
We're going to weave in some modern...
Some of your magic.
Kevin,
yes, darling, what can I do for you?
Kevin, we don't need to weave it in. It's a bedrock of the show. But... Some modern day issues. For instance, what are your views? And because it's been in the news recently on staging. What do you think about staging?
I believe in staging.
Really?
Well, I used to.
Yeah. Well, actually, good point. Good point.
Yeah, I can't be a hypocrite. I mean,
no, you were a fierce competitor.
You've got it there.
There was a little bit of theatre.
That's a disgrace.
There was a little bit of theatre in the way you played, Kevin. Look at this, and this one here coming up. This is a disgrace. Look at that.
That's about the only time Brent Croswell missed in his entire life.
That's probably the worst piece of staging I've ever seen in the history of footy.
So it's just part of the game, Kevin.
It's just part of the game.
All right.
You're a magnificent player for the Tigers, multi-premiership player for the footy club.
Absolutely.
You played in your first premiership winning side in 69. You couldn't celebrate it with them, though. You couldn't celebrate it with them, and there's a story behind this. Why not?
Oh, well, I was in the Army on Monday, and that was just the way it was, the National Service. So,
You're in the Army on Monday, so you played in the grand final, and then you were off.
Yeah. It was a bit unlucky, but that's the way it was.
Was that good for you?
It was the best 2 years. I learned so much in the Army. I got my first coaching job there. I learnt more about Australia and our country. You know, I went to night school, did Asian history and economics and that sort of stuff. I didn't want to wait. Graham Richmond's pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
You know, he should have been in charge of the SAS. He should have been.
Oh, no.
When Tommy was the coach, but Graham was a military
covert operator.
Oh.
Yeah. You coached an Army team.
Yeah, we were very good. We
we
won 2 premierships, and it was the first time I really took life serious because you had to go and talk to men who just come back from Vietnam, and you cannot talk about courage.
No,
because you've never been anywhere near what they've been there. And the guy, Major Fiddock, who was a fantastic commanding officer of the engineers, and Captain Perry, and, you know, I mean, they're all alive, these blokes, so I've got to be very careful. Yeah, I know. I mean, I took James Hird on a tour, you know, just to get him up and running and get a bit of happiness back in his life, and I'm up there, 550 people in Perth, and these guys are singing in the back. And now they're 70-odd. There's my captain, my sergeants, my corporals, and they're all in the group in the back, singing Up There Red Rooster, you know, and that's our Army unit. And they're the boys that I coached back in 1970. Yeah, so what are we talking, 50 years ago.
There you go.
And they were calling me, "We're watching you, Sapper." You know, and this is true. I mean, James Hirst's looking at me strange, you know, obviously, which he did often. And I said, "Don't worry about Hirdy, I know what's going on here." That's a stitch-up job from 50 years ago.
I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest they wouldn't have liked me popping in. Hey,
Move on.
Premiership player in 69, Premiership player in 73, and like Mickey said earlier, mate, you kicked the first 3 goals in 73 of the grand final. That's a fair effort. And then you were best on ground in 74. Kevin, why? This is your 3rd grand final as a player, and you're very excited. Why are you so excited? It's your 3rd one.
Well, look, I just love Tommy, and we really played for Tommy. You know, when Tommy's the first coach that really got into Cameron. That's Cameron Clayton just dropping it. I mean, that's it. You know,
he only had one touch. He only had one touch for the day. So
he was on the but he's on the bench. Be fair.
Yeah, well, he was.
I'm watching you.
Kevin, you loved Tommy.
I love Tommy. Yeah, he's just a beautiful person, and he treated all the players pretty much the same. Hard, ferocious coach. You know, I mean, you were brought up by 3 of the best you'll ever meet. You'll meet Tom Hafey in structure and fitness in your body, and the mind attitude. Like, attitude was one of his great skills. It's like you wouldn't see that at school. Attitude. You know.
Yep.
Graham Richmond, well, he's just military SAS. You know, you will kill the others, and of course, well, I mean, he was.
We get it.
I remember playing on Dennis Marshall my 2nd game. And Graham said, "Now, whatever you do, I just want to see you paint that fence with his blood." And I'm going, "No." And this is serious. And I come over from a very skillful playing footy club. And he was just... he just taught me... I'm serious. This is absolutely true. Yeah. He was another person in my life that I thought, well, I'm going to listen to this bloke, because I've never seen a man like him or heard him. You know, and he was just unbelievably fantastic, I believe, for Richmond. I mean, I got a letter from him to go to Richmond. You know, the Richmond Football Club, signed by Graham Richmond, which is very strange. Yeah, and, of course, Alan Schwab, who I think everybody's forgotten, probably is I think he's really the godfather of development of football from VFL to AFL. Alan Schwab, I think, is a very serious person in developing creativeness in the game. And he appointed 12 development officers in each club in those days, back in 1973-4. And Kevin Sheen and those boys are still there. Kevin Egan, you know. Andrew Ireland.
Mate, you're like Bruce McAvaney trying to get in here.
Well, no, because I think another important part of your development was the old tug of war on the wide world of sport.
Thanks,
Do you remember
Bruce.
that? Richmond versus Essendon. I think this is one of your first coaching gigs. Have a look at this. This is on a Sunday after the game.
George.
And you're one of the other coaches. And up the front, we have probably the most expensive centre-half forward in the game at the time.
That's strong.
Richmond's own Royce Hart.
Team of the century, centre-half forward, and he's lugging around a bit of rope on a Sunday morning.
And we're up against Essendon.
Was this typical behaviour back in the day? Yeah, you are.
Look, Graham Richmond expected us to win that. I'm serious.
Serious.
I am.
Go win it. Yeah.
And after that, we had the handball, and he expected us to win that. Everything we win in, we had to win.
There you are. There you obviously rode to the studio that morning.
Did you take that? So did you take that to Essendon when you left Richmond as a player and you went to Essendon as a coach? Did they have that sort of killer instinct in it?
Was a part of getting the club to a better position than where the Mighty Bombers had been.
Yep.
We won 21 games in our first year.
You drove them pretty hard.
16 and 5. We won the night series.
Yep.
About 40,000 out at Waverley. So I lost 5 of my first 6 games. That's probably the first time they had red shorts. I mean, how ridiculous was that?
Yeah.
Well, hang on, mate. You weren't exactly a doyen of the fashion industry yourself.
Who, are you talking to Sam or me?
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, I'm talking to you. You've worn your Carlton Indigenous jumper in tonight, so we appreciate that. That looks nice.
Can we talk through some of your...
And talk about Carlton.
Some of your looks which may not have stood the test of time. And that's one of my favourites, the beige. That, I don't know what's going on there. And you've pulled out the big shirts for grand final day. There's the chairman Mao.
What are you doing?
And explain what's going on here, would you, Sheets?
Well, my mother was very good at knitting, and I'm not going to not wear my mother's. See.
No, that's
no. Look,
what?
Listen, Tiger, settle down.
That's a scoop. That's called scoop neck, and that's big at the moment. that's right back in.
Yeah, well, everything. I mean, that's what the fashion industry do.
Yeah.
Wait till... I mean, I've still got this gear at home. Don't worry about that. I'm living out in the hut out the back. You know, my wife won't let me in the house. I'm a hoarder.
If you've still got that gear, don't put it on eBay, mate. I'll tell you that shit. Listen, after 2 short years as coach of Essendon, you got them into the grand final in '83. I was just wondering if the night before the grand final, the night before your biggest game ever as a coach, you thought it'd be a good idea to be out at High Point Shopping Centre doing a clinic with Terry Wallace, who's playing next day.
Yeah.
And you're at High Point. I know it's a great establishment, Sheets, but what were you doing out there the night before a game, before the grand final?
How would you know it was that date? Now, there's no date on it. I mean,
It is.
You are misforming the public.
You say it is.
You typical Collingwood halfback under 9.
That was.
Anyway, look, I relax.
I know you did relax.
I did relax.
I'm saying it's a good.
I think we've got evidence,
I'm saying it's a good idea, by the way. You could have had the players over and had the team dinner at the food court.
Which you own.
I think.
But I could injure Terry Wallace that night, and there's one gone.
Well,
you know, I mean, there's a lot of.
I would have thought you'd spent every moment of that week in the lead up to your first grand finalist coach thinking about the game, strategising and planning. This is what you said on the night before the grand final, '83.
Right?
Oh, well, I haven't even thought about the game as such at the moment. I mean, just out there having a bit of fun and enjoying that. So when I go home tonight, no doubt I'll slap a Hawthorn replay on and watch it and go to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
So you've done
That's the way it was.
You've done nothing in the whole week leading up to the game, Sheets.
Yeah, of course I would.
20, 140, Hawthorn, Essendon, 8-9-57. Maybe you should have done a bit more work leading, I reckon, Sheets. Hey,
I was trying to build Jeans's confidence up.
No, you did a great job. There's a lot more to talk about with you on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere.
There, Baker taps the ball on. Oh, beautiful play. Goes for a goal. And I think they've hit the front.
One of the great moments for Essendon supporters, that Baker goal. And then when Timmy does this and heads off to the southern stand, it was pandemonium for the Bombers. Louis Richards called it beautifully. This is Sheedy's premiership. You threw them the magnets around the whiteboard all over the joint with Hawthorn, seemingly on top in that game. The celebration was meant.
This is great. I love seeing it.
How satisfying, after 83, this is the 84 grand final, how satisfying was it, Sheed?
Oh, for the club it was fantastic. For the fans, obviously, and, it had been about 19 years, and I'd driven the club pretty hard. I mean, I'd probably hurt a few people's feelings. I cleared 60% of the list out and put in kids. I mean, we put Mark Thompson. I mean, Tony Bahajar should have been in a premiership. I mean, he changed Essendon because of his stature. He was probably the biggest hearted player in the club at that time, and we got him from East Fremantle, and he because we only had 2 on the bench. If you had 4, you'd play him and take the risk. Yeah. Same with Shane Hurd. They had a maybe hamstring. We win the grand final by 13 or whatever goals, and Shane says, "I've had enough, and then I wouldn't have told you," sort of. So these guys miss out, and they deserve to play. So, but I honestly think in that early stage, Bahajar took a lot of hits for a small man and showed a lot of people that were much bigger to be a bit better in the coaching department.
You said you're a pretty hard character. And
No, I said that I was hard on the team.
Well, you're not just... No, I'm going to take issue with this. Not just the team. You were hard all round, and everyone knew what you were thinking at any given time, including Tony Shaw. Can you talk me through this exchange? Something's going on here. Tony Shaw walks past you, and something is said, and there it is there, and return fire. I've been waiting to get to you to ask you, can you tell me, please, what the hell is going on there? That's 2 bulls in a paddock.
We look, the deal in the end is they won the premiership, so I've got to get over it.
Oh, yeah, but what gets said, Kevin? What are you saying to one another?
Look, I'm not quite sure.
I can lip read. I can tell you what he just said.
I can tell you now, he looked the best I'd ever seen him when he walking by then, didn't he?
There's no chance of you.
I reckon that guy, really, because he was let go and Tommy Havey got him back, I think, at Collingwood. And, I mean, for him to end up a fantastic achievement, being captain of a Collingwood premiership, unbelievable.
It's an incredible story.
Yeah, that is one of the great stories.
I don't think that's what you were saying.
No,
okay, so
I'm just trying to clean it up.
One of our favourite segments here is Fresh from the Archives.
Everyone talks about you're a mastermind, Sheeds. You did things your own way. One of the things, obviously, that was pretty common in the football world was to send a spy to training.
Yeah.
And you did that. You always picture spy to training. You think, trench coat and, like a paper with 2 holes cut out.
That's right.
But it wasn't like that at all. Usually it was just pretty stock standard. Someone would try to, slip in and just pretend they were just watching training. But I just wanted to point out this story here where you in particular, took football espionage to a whole nother level.
While it's common practice for opposition clubs to watch each other train, closed sessions are considered a no-go zone. But that didn't stop an Essendon insider penetrating Hawthorn's private midweek session. Posing as a Hawthorn player, he lasted just 15 minutes before being given his marching orders.
One of your spies pretended to be a Hawthorn player, Sheeds.
You didn't think you were going to get away with that, did you? Seriously.
He lasted 15.
He did the circle work. He did the warm-up. Was halfway through the circle work before they realised he wasn't one of them.
Do you know about that, Sheeds?
Don't know anything.
How many at your peak?
How many operatives?
Yeah, how many operatives did you have at your peak?
6. We always had 6 because in case one got ill. And we always lined up the top teams coming up for the final 5, 3 or 4 weeks out. So we had to have a month of knowledge before we hit the finals. Okay.
Why did you love
incredible?
Why did you love Paul van der Haar so much?
Well, I don't know whether I did. I mean,
no, you did. It's on the record.
You said somewhere.
Well, look, he was
5 favourite players of all time.
He'd be in the top 3 courageous players in Essendon's history in my time because he would go for a ball anywhere, and he would split a pack. He had eyes on the ball. He's never an awful, ugly mongrel player.
Yep.
He's actually a ball player, believe it or not. But his courage was incredible.
Yep.
And that's why, in the end, we kept him.
Can I ask you a question, please? Why did you never come back to Richmond? Can I ask that? Because there was a time there when we just were going, please come home. Yeah. Please come home. And then there was Mick Moldhouse was out there as a Prince of Cove. Please come home. Barmy, please come home. But we always thought at some stage you would come. Did you ever consider it?
Absolutely.
That you could come back and finish out or become the greatest Richmond legend of all time, player and
I don't. Look, just settle. All I want to let you know is that the history of Richmond with their coaches, that there were 12 coaching changes in my time at Essendon.
Yeah.
So why would I want to leave and go to a 2-year job when I got a 27-year job?
But I'll back you up.
Hold on.
It would have been different if you'd gone.
Well, you don't know that.
Why didn't you come back?
None of them.
Show your heart.
Did you ever come close to leaving Essendon for another club, Kevin?
I'll tell you what, the only time you ever turned up at Richmond was when you're renegotiating your contract.
All right, mate. There
you go, there he goes.
Oh, the man who owns South Yarra Richmond. So, look, that's not true.
No, I know that.
No, the first Sydney one was...
$1 million a year.
No.
$1 million a year.
Don't even
It
was $2 million.
The crazy doc offered you $1 million a year, true or false?
No, well, don't say that about the doc.
No, well, he's...
Tommy Hafe, you love Edelson. I personally think that, I honestly believe if Basil Sellers had got the Swans, I thought Basil Sellers was the right person for the Swans. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go.
Was it $1 million a year?
No, definitely not.
900,000 a year.
Look,
what do we do?
This is how Carlton people feel and think. And it's all about noughts. And, at Richmond, the decimal point was always to the left. Carlton, it's always to the right.
And it's in a brown paper bag.
Can I want to ask this?
As a matter of fact, a Carlton person told me not to go to Sydney.
Yeah. Again, why didn't you come back to Richmond? Right. Hey, can I mention this? Let's move on. I just say my two favourite rounds of the year, without doubt, are the Indigenous and Anzac round, both of which you can claim they were your inspiration. Two of the greatest changes in my time to football. How proud were you on this given day, and how great was the result for the first ever Anzac Day clash? I mean, do you feel proud when you look back and see what this has become and what it is now?
Well, Buckley made it a legendary game.
Yeah.
Because he didn't shoot for goal.
Did you thank him after the game? If that's the worst...
I've never thanked him.
Yeah.
No, I should, but...
It's
like footy's change. I mean, when the president of Collingwood and the coach of Collingwood live in Toorak, I've got to get over it. So life's changed.
It's a good point.
Yeah. It's a fantastic legacy. Anzac round tick. Indigenous round tick. Yeah. Country round jury's still out.
Hey. I'm going to let you know about this. You wouldn't have a clue. OK?
Do you think this is... Look at this. Is this what you had in mind?
Well, I'm worried about the CEO. See, that's what... They don't get a real sheep, do they? They just don't get... No. All you needed was a gorgeous little bar lamb and the kids would sign up straight away.
When Gil first heard about a country round, he thought you were talking about the rolling hills in the south of France. So that's probably why it was different.
He turned up on a polo horse. We're on it.
I think the country round will be as big as the other.
You do?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it went from, I think, we always played Geelong. We never played Geelong in the MCG for 20 years, right? So we built it up to about 63,000 by the second game, which is pretty exciting.
Yep.
And I've got no doubt that it'll get up to 85 plus. And Geelong are just waking up, you know.
Yeah.
They are. They sleep. They live in the country. But see, it's about city kids not really getting to the country and getting to the field day outside the MCG. And the best thing we did on the last game was we got one of the best teacher dogs on sheep control. It was incredible. And there was about 300 people just watching this guy teach the dogs how to get the sheep through the gates and then walk over the top of them. I thought...
And I say this sincerely.
You have not a sincere word in your...
I say this sincerely, someone who loves you. We are not going to the break on that story.
OK, well, you go. Give me your best...
I want to ask you a serious
What do
question.
you want to ask a serious question?
Who was the toughest coach to coach against?
Well, I think Matthews beat me, so that's fair enough. He's 2 grand finals, Collingwood and 2001.
Okay.
But I think there are great coaches that get missed in the ballpark. I think Ross Lyon's been missed. You know, he's the smartest coach in AFL history. Ross, he's coached for 13 years and made 10 million. That's a pretty. No, I'm serious. He's just a brilliant coach. But I think no, that's brilliant.
That's good.
But I think in the end, I think everybody forgets Alan Joyce. 2 premierships in about 50 games.
All right. Listen, GW, you finished.
Need to mention GW.
Yeah, you finished at GWS.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say you put your foot off the gas when you got there and you were out of ideas. But look, I've noticed there's a bit of a difference between. Look at this whiteboard here at Essendon, packed full of messages and inspiration and detail. And what I'm saying is, by the time you got to GWS, you'd pared back. You'd pared it back a bit, Kevin. That's all.
Well, that was 17.5 years of age.
I know.
We had 17 first game players there. What do you want me to talk? Take them to war.
Cheese.
I mean,
We'll let you go. We have to let you go.
I have to go.
We do. He's getting grumpy.
I've just been told that the bid for that, the Nooka...
How are we going?
15 grand.
15 grand and rising.
Wow.
Good on you, mate.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Another beautiful thing
Thank you. Thank you. SheedyBlaze.com/eBay. You saw what it is. It's all the money's going to bushfire victims, and it's a wonderful thing that Sheeds has donated. So, hey, before you got a little Cheerio, have you? Before we go.
Oh, I've got a mile.
Yeah,
no, I'm only joking.
A friend
of ours, Tim Hable, who's a beautiful person, has not been well, but is coming good. A fantastic sports racing journo, yeah. And I've had some really good mail coming from Pat Bartley and the boys, and he's getting along. So, mate, all the best. We'll hope to see you up and about soon. We all love you, and of course, and to my grandkids. I just thought I'd mention my grandkids because young Thomas is sitting home watching and saying, "That's amazing."
You're a very lucky man.
He would have loved that sheepdog story.
Good on you, Sheeds.
Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute joy having you on. Kevin Sheedy, a very special.
Thanks, Dan.
It's been an absolute joy. It's been to have him on the show. From Kevin Sheedy to the multi, that's up next.
Oh, yes.
Mate.
Great to have you with us tonight. Great to have Kevin Sheedy on the show. Round 13 kicks off tomorrow night. We've got some fantastic footy to look forward to. Gold Coast Suns and Carlton get it underway. Massive game, Western Bulldogs, Melbourne. That is huge.
Yep.
Port Adelaide have had their issues this week. It'd be interesting to see how they bounce back. Then Dreamtime game
Dreamtime.
Saturday night. It's going to be huge. And probably the Sunday games, the Brisbane Lions St Kilda game is the one that jumps off the page at us. So there's a lot of good footy to look forward to. They'll be wearing the Indigenous jumpers, of course.
It is one of the great parts of the Indigenous rounds. Looking forward to the jumpers and all the designs.
Collingwood won.
Yep.
They are all available.
Essendon won.
They're all available via the club websites as well. So if you like what you see, the players wearing it, how couldn't you? They are absolutely magnificent designs. You can get them at your club website. So make sure you do that. Time now for Mixed Multi.
We got 3 legs last week and we got beaten. The last leg, the horse came 4th. We only did it in the
very close.
So which means
you're in form.
We cannot lose this week, which means this is a lay-down misère. Get on, go mad, go hard early. Here we go. First leg. This week, the Tigers players and staff saying happy birthday to Dimmer. It was Dimmer's birthday. There's Dusty on cake duty. Have a look. There's Dimmer. Here he goes. He sits up and, as is tradition, he blows out the candles. Have a look at him blow it out. Have a go. Yeah. OK. I'd like to wager that if Dimmer did have COVID-19, now everybody has COVID-19. Did you see the way he blew that out? I mean, if a piece of that cake and...
No, I like it when you explain them.
Thank you. There's a chance. You can't have it, but how about you take...
If he did, I'm not saying he did.
How about you take the Tigers to beat the Bombers by 20 plus, and I'll give you 162.
By the way, Dusty didn't bake that cake. He's more of a flan man.
Are you going to take that?
Take what?
The 20
Oh, yeah, of course I am. Yeah, we're in.
It's a bit cocky.
Hey, second leg, here we go. Ed Curnow boots it off the ground, straight into the face of his teammate, Kade Simpson. Watch this. Bang! That hurt. Let's have a look at that again as it goes. Oh, I'd like to wager that hopefully that kick erased 200 losses from Kade Simpson's memory.
That's just...
If there's any justice, you go, oh, bang, what happened?
You're a really miserable bloke.
My first game for Carlton.
You can't...
Are we any good?
Are you done?
No.
You can't have it, but how about you take Falcon Stride to run a place race to Menangle Harness? Menangle Harness. Fair dinkum. We fair dinkum? $6.
Can I tell you?
Yep.
I've got some mail on this. This is...
Where is Menangle Harness Racing? You've heard of that before?
It's just, all you need to know is the Menangle fix is in. No, it cannot.
The Menangle fix is not in.
I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. That's all. Keep it clean.
I always like my horse to be dripping with paint. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's the old Menangle way.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, here we go. Third leg. Nyika John playing reserves for Perth in the waffle. Lets this bomb rip. This is one of the best I've ever seen. And bang! Watch this. That had a bit on it. There it is. I'd like to just have a look at that again.
Yeah, right.
And it is one of the best.
Where is
Boom shakalaka.
Where is that?
He's either. It's a waffle. I told you that.
No.
It's like, listen up. I'd like to wager that's one of the best kicks I've ever seen, or he's kicking with the 25-goal breeze.
That's a good way. Oh, dear.
Boom shakalaka.
Mate,
mine.
You've lost it.
It's mine.
You can't have it. But how about you take Tom Hawkins to kick 3+ against the Crows, and I'll give you $1.72.
They almost can't be beaten this year, Geelong. I'm almost calling it now. They win the flag. And that's not part of the multi.
That Menangle meat, that's a real... They're real horses, aren't they?
Well, I believe so, yeah.
Well, they're Shetlands. Right, it's a lot of fun over the jumps. That's all I'm saying. No, of course it is. All right, to boot this baby home. Now, this is where we're going to make some good coin here. Look past the interview in the foreground to the action on the treadmill in the background. Have a good look.
I mean, I could work out all day.
And here it goes. I'd like to wager that guy's face has clocked up more Ks on the treadmill than I have in the last 5 years. Boom shakalaka. What is it?
No, you can't have that. But how about you take Flop to run a place in race 4 at Morpeth?
Oh, I like what you've done there with Flop.
You can see what
Bag
I've
it
done.
up
There you
and...
go. Here it is. This is what it's paying. $61. There you go.
Oh, see you in the Bahamas.
If you like it, Mixed Multi, jump on the Sportsbet app, look for Mixed Multi in the Megabet section of the app, and whatever you do, please gamble responsibly. The last shout coming up for the Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft. Don't go anywhere. Come next. So, thanks to Sheeds for coming on, and thanks for giving us the frame, Noongar Team of the Century and the contribution. It's magnificent. It's now up, that is it. It is now up to $16,700 has been bid for that, which is absolutely magnificent. All money raised goes to bushfire relief, sheedyblaze.com/eBay. You see it there. That's the place to go if you want to get on board and help a whole lot of people out and end up with a remarkable piece of memorabilia, football memorabilia.
You and another top. You and another top over there.
I have.
More wardrobe changes than Beyonce tonight, mate.
Reactive in this area. I think the blue
have a look at that one.
Brings out the blue in the eyes a bit better than the
like a clothes horse.
Next week, Thursday, we're on after the footy. Luke Darcy, our very special guest. Thursday night after the footy. Luke Darcy, our special guest. Don't miss it. Put it in your book right now. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching tonight.